Well, hello there and welcome to the channel and welcome to Football Manager 2022. It is that time of year again, ladies and gents. Can you believe it? It's like Christmas. It is Christmas for us Football Manager fans, isn't it? Here we go. Episode 1 of a new series. It's with West Ham United. We'll get into that in a little bit. We'll just get through these screens. It's been a bit of a change of plan. I wasn't going to do... what have we got? 8 million in the transfer budget. Okay. I wasn't going to do West Ham. I'll be honest from the start. It wasn't my plan. My original plan was to do Newcastle United, and then the takeover went through, and it was it kind of it set me back a bit, if I'm being honest. Let me just save that. So yeah, the reason I wanted to do it, and I recorded a series reveal and everything, and then they had the takeover go through, and the reason I wanted to do it was to have the jeopardy of a takeover hanging over me for the series. So I quite want to be in the Premier League. I've only ever done one season of Premier League management on the channel, and that was way back on. It would have been FM22, I think, when my beloved Huddersfield Town were in there. So I wanted to go into the Premier League. So I had a look through the Premier League table, trying to get in my head teams that might be susceptible to a takeover at some point, and West Ham jumped out at me straight away. So yeah, this is why we're doing them. There were a couple of others in there, but West Ham were the ones that stuck out to me. They've got a good squad as well. That's the big thing. So we're just going to have a look at the squad, maybe see what sort of tactic we can maybe play, things like that. I mean, it's a really good squad, and of course they've got European football as well. Are they in the Conference League? I can't. What are they in? Where's the club info screen? Are they in the Conference League thing? I can't remember what they're in. Where are we? Oh, they're in the Europa League, not the Conference League thing. Okay, that's fine. That is all good. We will skip the squad induction. Let's have a look. I need to go through and sort out all the views, the screens. But as you can see, I've literally just set the game up and loaded into it. So the obvious players that we need to be looking at are the likes of Thomas Souček, of course. Very, very good player. He's going to be one of those that, look, he's price tagged at around 40 million. He's going to be one of those that we might struggle to keep hold of. There's quite a few here that we might struggle to keep hold of a little bit, if I'm being honest. Saeed Benrahma has just come in as well, of course. Looks excellent. Play anywhere across the three. I've come into it in my head playing a 4-2-3-1. That's what I've got in my head, just because of the players that I know they've got. Obviously, you've got Manuel Lanzini as well, who I think, is he injured in real life? I don't really seem to remember him playing much this season. But he can play the number 10. Obviously, Fornals could play there as well. He could play any number of positions, so he's going to be very, very useful for us. Michail Antonio, he's going to be our main striker for the start of the season, I think, unless we do some business with that huge 8 million. And of course, the one that, Jared Bowen as well. He can play anywhere across it's screaming 4-2-3-1. It was what I had in my head, and it's being confirmed here. It is screaming 4-2-3-1 at me. There's so many players that can play behind a striker. And the obvious one, the one that we're probably going to struggle to keep hold of, is Declan Rice, who at the start of the game is already wanted by Manchester United. I'll be honest, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep hold of him beyond the first transfer window. I've no idea. We might get one season with him, potentially, possibly. I have no idea. So yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. Defence isn't amazing. Issa Diop is a good player, isn't he? He's 24. He could probably end up being our first choice, I think. But yeah, that's the squad. I think it's going to be 4-2-3-1. Obviously I'll go through and have a look at the reserves and the U23s and everything, and see what we've got going on in there. If you are a West Ham fan and you know of players at the club, hot prospects, flag them up for me, and I can keep an eye on them, especially because it might just scrape. It might have just passed me by a little bit. Got the new data hub in here, which I'll have a look at as I'm going through the pre-season, the tactics as well. Transfers so far, so they spent 58 million. Kurt Zuma from Chelsea was 30 million. But, you know, look at him. He's just quality, isn't he? He's going to be absolutely brilliant for us. Valued in the £50 million region as soon as we signed him. Nikola Vlasic came in for 25.5, and he's worth double that already. So absolutely fantastic. And they haven't really sold anybody. The biggest one is Felipe Anderson. Wow, they sold him for 2.6 million. That completely passed me by. They paid 36 million for him, and they sent him away for 2.6. Oh wow, took an absolute bath on him, didn't you? Quite a lot went out on free. So we've got a few out on loan, which I will have a look at as we're going through. I've got an Excel spreadsheet with loads of players on it as well, which I need to get into the game of scout. You know, when you hear when you're watching other people's videos and you're reading blogs or listening to podcasts and player names come up, and you're never going to remember them all. So I got a little Excel spreadsheet going. So I will have that as we go. You know, I'll add those in and scout them all and things. Yeah, so that's the tactics screen. Let's just have a quick look. I don't know. I think a few of the player roles have changed. I think the target man is now a target forward. But the appeal of the appeal of doing West Ham as well is they're not one of the big guns, are they? With all due disrespect, they're not they're not one of the big six. They're not one of the title challengers. You should be getting a top half finish with them. You should really be pushing for Europe with that squad. But the great thing is, I'm not just going to be able to set and forget a tactic. I'm going to have to probably use all three of those tactic slots and have maybe a home tactic, which I can also use away against some of the smaller teams. But I'm going to have like maybe low block tactics, counter-attack tactics, and I'm going to have to change them up in matches as well. You know, maybe go to 2 up front and 5 in midfield, or go to a back 3 or things like that. It's going to be real sort of like thinking on the fly. And it's been a while since I've done a save like that, where you do start needing to change things. I mean, we have some massive clubs, obviously, in the Premier League, and you go away to Old Trafford and Anfield and the Etihad, and you're not going to be able to go there and really go at them. So it's going to have to be a slightly more cautious approach. So that's one thing that I'm really looking forward to as well. I will just show you before we finish. As I say, it was just a quick look around. I don't think, in terms of staff, before we do, don't need to do the staff induction. That's fine. I know all about that. So we do have room for a performance analyst. We don't have a direct. Oh wow, the recruitment team's going to take some building up. We've got one scout. We haven't got a director of football, which I probably will get in because they are useful. We haven't got a head of sports science, and we need a couple of physios as well. So I've got to do quite a bit on the staff. The staff ratings on the coaches is pretty good. We are below average on a few of them, but again, that will be a case of going through, seeing if I can get rid of some people, bring in some new ones, and we'll catch up on that later down the line. The one thing I was going to just quickly show you was, is it the game status, which shows you all the leagues that we've got. Let's have a look. So we've got the Czech Republic, because they do, Thomas Souček and players like that, they do like to bring players over. We've got, obviously, we're only League 2 and above. I thought I'd set that to the National League. Oh, that's a shame. I might add them in as playable leagues, but I might not. We'll see. France, Germany, Italy, Netherlands. I've also got Norway, because Scandinavian players tend to come over and do quite well. For the same reason, I think I've put Sweden in there as well. Poland, very much the same as Czech Republic. Portugal and Scotland. Spain, Sweden, and Ukraine as well. In-game editor is not allowed. It's not a thing on the beta anyway, but in case for later down the line I do end up buying it, it's not allowed to be used, and it hasn't been used. So yeah, that is basically everything, I think, at the moment. I didn't even look at the club vision. Let's have a look at the club vision. I just click confirm, go through. So it's a play attacking football, which I will for the most part. Do not sign players over the age of 30. I generally don't anyway. Develop players using the youth system, sign under 22s, sign high reputation. These are all preferred and desired. They're not required. Obviously, wage budget is required at every club. Mid-table in the Premier League, that's good then. That's good. I thought because they're in the Europa League, they might have been saying qualify for Europe, so I'm quite happy with that. 5th round of the FA Cup. I never liked these targets because we could end up getting drawn away to Man City in the 3rd round, so I never really liked those. Europa League is the first knockout round. That, I think, is definitely attainable. EFL Cup is the 4th round. Work towards becoming self-sustainable. Okay, I haven't noticed that in the game before. Then at the end of the next season, they want a top half Premier League finish. My contract ends, so I'm on a 2-year deal. Become self-sustainable in 2023, 20. What does that mean? Is that so the board don't have to keep putting money in? Is that what that's all about then? Have we got loans then to pay to the Dildo brothers? So we're paying 145 grand a month. Interest only. So they loaned 44 million and we're to pay 34 million just in the interest. Wow. 120 million. Okay, so we're paying out 1.1 million a month just in payments. Net debt is 273.6 million. Wow. That's hard. That's high. So hopefully a takeover is kind of hanging over us, and it's going to come down to the timing of it. If it happens in this first season, there's a realistic chance that it'll be a quick good night on the series. If it's a couple of seasons down the line and I've got a bit of a reputation at the club, it might be that I'd survive it. But I kind of want that hanging over me a little bit. So that's why I did it. It's why I was originally going to do a save with Newcastle, but it just means we've got beef with them now. That's all that means. So yeah, I can't wait to get going on this. The layout's quite nice. It looks it seems like they've kind of tied it in with like the touch and mobile versions, doesn't it? Stylistically, it looks a little bit like that. But yeah, a lot of stuff to do before we get on to our first game, which in the Premier League is Brighton at home and then Leeds away. Okay, that's all right. I can live with that. That's not a bad start. I mean, it's not a great September with Arsenal, Man City and Everton, but we should at least have some points on the board before we get to those games. So, depending on transfer activity and how long that's going to take to wrap up in the next episode, we'll definitely do Brighton. Whether we do the trip up to Ellen Road or not I'm not sure yet, but definitely come back for the next episode. I cannot wait to get going on this. Jump in the comments and let me know who your saves are with on the beta. If you're doing just a normal beta save and then on to a different save for the main game. Jump in the comments and let me know all that. As always, though, smash a like on this one, guys. Subscribe as well if this is a series that's going to interest you. It's going to be good. It's going to be a good ride. I'm looking forward to it. And as always, turn on those notifications so when an episode does drop, you will be the first to know. And thank you very much for watching. Let's get going on this one. I cannot wait. I'll see you soon.